up, everybody? It's your boy Mozzie here, bringing you another My Hero Academia deck profile. Today, I'm going to be doing a profile on my Life Momo deck that I took to a top 4 finish at the Gencon Regional License Exam in Indianapolis. It was about 200-something people. It was an absolute blast. Shoutouts to Jasco and shoutouts to everyone that I played against, everyone I got to hang out with over the weekend. What a cool event it was. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the deck. Like I said, we're Life Momo. So we're a 6-hander with 26 health that says Enhance, destroy 1 foundation, build 1 asset or weapon foundation from your card pool face up. This attack gets +2 or -2 speed. And Enhance, once per turn, remove 1 foundation, add 1 weapon card from your discard pile to your hand. So, previously, we saw a lot of Momo with Staff Strike, but people finally realized, hey, you don't need to play a bunch of weapon cards for Momo to be good. You can just play the best cards on Symbol and pick up the good weapon cards that you see when you see them, and then, yeah, just go from there. So let's start with the foundations, the cornerstone of the deck, really. I play 2 high-value target. This is just basically another copy of, like, it's like a mini rescue completed, because it turns 1 foundation into 2 for the sake of passing checks. Also says that, they can't, like, destroy my rescue completed randomly. Sorry. Because of its response, like if they evil gaze me or something, I can pop it instead of the rescue, which is good. 2 floating. I think if I were to rebuild this deck, I'd probably play this at a 3 of. This card's really, really good. Just sporadically giving your attacks 1 damage for free is pretty good. It also lets us stack this top card of our discard pile somewhat for quick creation. So, yeah. 4 Excited for Blood. This is just kind of a staple. I don't necessarily agree with running less than 4 of this card if you're going to run it, but I know there are certainly some people that do think this card is warranted running, even if it's at a 1 or a 2 of, which I could understand that. 3 copies of Face Shield. Face Shield is just, it's an Omni block. So I'm sure you'll notice I'm not playing Wall Cling in this deck. The main reason for that is every time that I saw Wall Cling, I didn't want to build it because the other foundations in my hand were just of a higher quality, and I would rather build those instead. Because the Life Symbol has a lot of 2 and 3 diffs that you are need to build because they're very important that you do build them. And when I had to hold Wall Cling in my hand, it was a bad block mod. So I decided, hey, if I'm going to play a bad block mod, I'm at least going to flip their attack and say I don't take any damage from it while I'm holding it in my hand anyways. But there's definitely some logic that warrants playing both in your deck. Forget how exactly Bromley explained it to me, but there's definitely reasons to play both. 3rd MVP of the deck. Actually, this is like 4th MVP of the deck. But Steady Group Leader. This card's so good in Momo. Obviously, it has her face on a response. After you commit this card due to pay the cost of an ability, once per turn, ready this foundation, playable while committed. So when you commit it for Cannon Blast, or when you commit it for, most importantly, Rescue completed, you just get a ready at once per turn. So it's a free -2 speed times the number of study group leaders you have. Or on your turn, if you're not cannon blasting them to death, it's free +1 speed for each of them you have, which is also very good. Passing the Torch. There's really not much to say about this card. It says Enhance, draw a card. Enhance, committed, draw a card, or draw 2 cards. If you're playing against Kirishima, you gotta block them hard and chop sometimes, so you gotta be able to draw cards. 3 self-sec. Maybe... So, in retrospect, maybe this card wasn't exactly the most needed thing, and I could have been running something else instead. Like, I could have been on more copies of Study Group Leader, more copies of, like, New Training Method, stuff like that. But, this card's fine. When it was doing stuff, it was doing a lot of stuff, so... Sorry, my apologies. 4 copies of Precious Lesson. One of the best foundations in the deck, if not the best foundation in the deck. Ah, man. My allergies are just acting up so badly. So yeah, this card says, after one of your foundations is removed or destroyed, you build the top card of your deck face down for flipping it. That's a response. So, very, very strong for a 1 diff, that's for sure. Preparing for battle. This is a 1/5 with weapon and breaker 1. I rarely ever actually, like, built this card or used the enhance on it. However, you can use it to set up your discard pile for quick creation, which is pretty neat. And it's, pretty easy to just, like, pop it after you draw a card and discard a card with, like, release or something, or self-sack. Then build it in with quick creation, and then Momo for 2 speed, and then you get to cycle another card, basically. Which is pretty cool if you're digging for attacks. 3 Rising Starlet. Very self-explanatory. It's a weapon with a 2 high block that says, after we build it, gain a health. The enhance on this rarely ever actually came up for me, and when it did... I mean, it was honestly really good when it did, because it probably meant that I was winning the game that turn every time I was using this enhance. Because, you know, it's either another copy of Rising Starlit, it's a copy of Preparing for Battle, Quick Creation, you know, stuff like that. 3 Release. This is just another copy of Momo's Face, basically. Destroy Foundation for -2 speed. -2 speed. But in all reality, it's +2 to our check to block, which that part doesn't actually matter because we're not playing plus ultra, which that is an option. That is something that you could be doing. You could be playing Wall Cling and plus ultra on this deck. For Amphibious, this is the 2nd best foundation in the deck. Yeah, honestly, I think Precious Lesson and Amphibious are tied for, like, the 2nd best foundation in the deck. Amphibious is just so free in this character that says, hey, after I block with a weapon, I'll build it down from my card pool. You know, seems pretty sick with Rescue completed. We just block everything. You know how it be. Yeah, this card's very simple, very vanilla, extremely strong. 3 copies of Observant Student. Ugh. Say that 6 times fast. Apparently I can't even say it once. But it's a 1/5 with a 1 low block that says enhance flip to look at the top card of your deck, so it gives you top deck information, which matters in a lot of situations. It dictates kind of how you're allowed to play your turn. Eventually, I swear I'll stop yawning when I go on camera. And it has a Deadlock Enhance that says commit if a card has left your card pool this turn, add 1 ranged attack from your discard pile to your hand. Really good when you go into Deadlock, which a lot of the Kirishima 2s, a lot of the Momo mirrors, they'll just go into Deadlock, and you can just kind of go like, oh yeah, I'll play Observant Student, and then I'll play a Capture Net, and then I'll use Capture Net to build down my Observant. So I've already met the condition on my Observant to pick up a ranged attack, and then I'll pick up an Instant Shining Flash, or Frog Lashing, or Cannon Blast, you know. Onto the actual best foundation in the deck. This card is absolutely absurd in Momo. Rescue completed. It says commit a foundation for -2 speed. What does our character say? Oh, blow up a foundation for -2 speed. So you're telling me I can commit 1 foundation and destroy it for -4 speed to my opponent's attack? Okay, yeah, sounds great. And sometimes it's not even destroy a foundation. It's build a foundation from your card pool. Insane. This card is actually so obnoxious in this character. 4 Tight-Lipped. We are playing Back Alley Haymaker, so we want enough zero diffs that we can choose to build a zero diff or draw off of our back alleys. And this card just lets us flip for Frog Lashing, so we can ready stuff, and it gives our stuff a bunch of bonus damage. 3 New Training Method. This just is the best going first foundation in the game, I want to say. Like, if you open 6 foundations and 2 of them are New Training Method, you're probably building 6 that turn, right? Because you go 2, 3, 3, 3, because you play 0 diff, and then you just build in your last 2 with the New Training Methods, and since you went first, it didn't matter that you're empty-handed. You just get to draw 6 new ones or whatever. 4 copies of Back Alley Haymaker. This card's really self-explanatory. It's a Charge Punch, EX2, Stun 2, 4 mid 5. Enhance, draw 1 card, or build 1 foundation with a printed difficulty of 0 from your discard pile. This card is absolutely cracked. It does literally everything. It stuns our opponents out. It's an enabler. It draws cards. It builds us. I don't know what else I could ask for in a card, honestly. Cannon Blast. This is kind of the workhorse of our deck, and I know you're probably thinking, well, if it's the workhorse of your deck, why are you only playing 2 of it? And that's because the game goes long enough that we always see it in our discard anyways, so we can pick it back up with Momo. This deck does not feel any particular need to draw Cannon Blast by a specific turn, unless they put me to like 3 randomly and I have to kill them. But this deck can kill people without Cannon Blast due to the other attacks that we are running in the deck. We play 3 Create Bowstaff. So this card is either net 1 card in hand, which is a block, or it's a free build from a committed foundation, because you add a weapon foundation in, and then you blow up one of your committeds to give it 2 speed and bring down the weapon foundation. Whoa, crazy. It's almost like this card was designed for this character. 3 Create Capturing Net. So I have a love-hate relationship with this card. It's a very good card. It stuns people out. It lets you build whatever your best foundation that you drew was. So... Sorry. Yeah, just fantastic card overall. But there are definitely times where the 2 speed on this will not do you any favors, even despite the fact that it has stun 2. Just because, like, it's pretty easy to block, so you're rarely going to get an Excited for Blood proc off of it. And if you do, you have to feel lucky too, honestly, because this is actually the easiest thing to perfect block. 2 Home Run Comet. This is one of our multiple kill conditions. We just overload with charges and highs, and then we home run Comet for powerful 5, and we just kill them because they can't block our home run after they've been stunned forward and they blocked an attack or 2 or whatever. So yeah. 3 Zero Gravity Lift. So this has honestly been the card that I've been the least impressed with in this deck. I can't think of the amount of times where I actually used this card this weekend, or had the opportunity to use this card this weekend. It just, like, didn't do as much as I wanted it to, and honestly, if I were to remake the deck now, I would take this out and replace it with a 4 diff that actually does something. Just because the 5 diff on this is really rough when we're also trying to string Lashings and Haymakers and Cannon Blasts, and, like, yeah, we're trying to play long strings. This is never a card that is I'm going to play on a turn where I'm trying to kill my opponent. This is something I play on a turn where I'm trying to whittle them down. Speaking of, yeah, Frog Lashing. This card's insane. Probably ban-worthy. I'm honestly surprised it's not banned yet. This is a... Don't let it fool you. The number in the top left-hand corner is not actually a 5. It's a 3. So it's a 3... 4 high for 8. Which means it's a 6 high for 8 in Momo that readies 2 face downs. Yeah, seems pretty good. Seems pretty good. 2 instant Shining Flash. It's a 4 high for 4 with a 1 low block. It says R after we play it. Our rival discards 1 momentum, and then E flip a foundation. The next card you attempt to play this turn gets -1 difficulty. So this card does a few things for us. It smooths out our attack turns a little bit by us playing it as our second card. And then we flip to basically say, hey, it doesn't count towards progressive for our next card. Which is pretty good as a flip cost, especially when we're playing Frog Lashing. So we go instant Shining Flash into Frog Lashing. It's on a 6, because we probably played an attack before the Shining Flash. And then we check a 3, commit 2 face downs, and in Amphibious or something, and we just ready our entire board. Because balanced or something, I don't know. For Quick Creation, this is the toll that you must pay when you're playing Momo. You have to play Quick Creation, you have to play the green cards. That is why sometimes one of the main reasons you will lose as Momo is to your deck itself. Your deck will actually just shoot itself in the foot. Because either you don't get to draw as many foundations as you need to actually play the game, you flood on assets, you flood on attacks, just everything is where it's not supposed to be. So, and that's one of the main reasons we have this card, Box Full of Babies. We're only playing 1, we're playing 3 in the sideboard in case we needed it. But, like I was saying, it helps us sculpt, make sure that we don't have as many of those brick hands, so on and so forth. All in all, I love this list. I think it was very good for this regional, which, you know, obviously I was correct on that front. Shoutouts to Unfun Stuff, Bromley, Jose, Phil Birch, Andrew, Levi, Tam, all those guys. I have absolutely one of the best teams I could possibly ask for. It was so great getting to hang out with you guys this weekend, and especially great getting to play against Bromley in top 4, even though our match was definitely kind of a wash. I was still very happy that if I was going to lose to anyone, it was to Bromley. So, yeah. Next, our sideboard, we were running 2 ultra compressed weights. Hey, the only way this deck actually dies is if Ostley plays 12 attacks on you before you can actually do anything. Or Jiro messes you up. Which, this card doesn't do much against Jiro, but against Froppy, man, does this card do a lot. Or does nothing, honestly. I really can't tell. I played against Daniel Nelson, shoutouts, right before... the round before... we were going into top 16, and he played 8 attacks on me through a face shield, compressed weights, and a breaker block, while checking all 3s, playing Osui. Personal opinion, that character is not balanced and should be banned / touched in some way, and then we should also hit the things that are around her in the meta. I think that would make a lot of sense, but what do I know? I'm just a player. 1 instant Shining Flash. This is just for decks that have a lot more momentum hunger, so being able to stifle them of that is very good. 1 rescue completed. So this mainly came in when I felt like I needed more speed hate, so like when I needed to stack rescues. Or when I brought in May, because May doesn't have speed hate on her face, which means she needs everything she can get from her foundations. I was playing 3 box full of babies. This is for the May side mainly, which only actually happened once, and when I did it, I got completely bodied because I did not expect Phil to bring in more learning the standards against me, and he definitely did. So kudos to him. Very heads up play. 2 copies of Glamorous. This was for the grindier matchups, so I could reset my foundation base, make sure it's not flipped, and give 3 speed whenever they like minus speed my dude. Yeah. All in all, if I had to rate this deck, I'd probably say it's like an 8 out of 10. Maybe a 9 out of 10. Who do I think's... Sorry. Who do I think had the most prepared Momo list out of the 4 of us that went and played it? I think it's definitely a tie between Broberg and Bromley. They were very much teched for the mirror if they had to play against it, and it just felt like they had definitely put a lot of like work and thought into it. Which is not to say that me and Nate didn't. Obviously, we weren't gonna play something that we didn't think could win, and that we just, randomly just picked up on a whim. So yeah. Thanks everyone for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope to see you all again here in the near future. And sayonara. What is up, Matsu Nation? Thank you for watching till the end of the video. If you enjoyed, like, comment, and subscribe. And check out all my socials and my Patreon. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and sayonara.